Hello, everyone. I'm Dijon,
I'm Amir.
and welcome to the Mustacast, the podcast about the art of storytelling and how it's used across different mediums. Make sure that you like, comment, and subscribe if you want to see our channel grow, and click the notification bell so that you're notified when we post. As usual, we'll start with media consuming. You can start, Amir.
Um, I'm trying to think. Uh, I was playing a lot of Destiny. I remember that much. Literally the past like I want to say for like the past week, I haven't been doing anything except for watching Castle on Hulu. Which, if you don't watch Castle, you should really watch Castle. It's really good. It's
I used
pretty.
to, I used to watch it a lot.
It's so good. I love that show so much. Oh my god, it's one of my favorite shows ever. And as a writer, it's really fun. Like that's like one of my, that is a fantasy of mine is to get rich enough that I can spend all day just shadowing around like the inspiration for like a book that I'm writing. Like that is the dream right there. And I love Richard Castle's character. He's hilarious. Nathan Fillion plays the same exact character in everything he's in, and it works every single time. I
And
love
that
it so much.
and that character is Nathan Drake.
Literally. And Nathan Drake is really just Nathan Fillion because they're the same person. I don't. Oh my! I cannot believe that an Uncharted movie starring Nathan Fillion hasn't been made before. Like it. I know he made a little fan film on YouTube, but like, no, there should have been like a blockbuster Uncharted film starring Nathan Fillion. That would. Oh my god.
I feel like
Oh,
I feel like they could have got at least a trilogy out of him before he got too old. I feel like he's still young enough to get at least a movie or two out or three at max. And they could have still had uh like Tom Holland played the younger version of him in flashbacks. And then like after the third movie, they could just do prequels with um Tom. And then maybe if they want to do more with him older, then they continue to do it with Tom. But anyway, we can talk about that later.
yeah, no, Nathan Fillion is just great. He's one of humanity's treasures. I hope nothing ever happens to that man. Um, what else? Oh, and I've been playing a roguelike called Skull the Hero Slayer. It's really fun. It's really cute. It's like really reversed. It's almost like a reversed look at like typical fantasy Legend of Zelda type stuff, where you play as a skull, which are typically like minions of like the bad guy, like low level, like one hit kill minions of the bad guy in like most fantasy RPGs. But you play as a little skull, a little baby bone skull, and you're working for the Demon King and the Demon Army. And the heroes are the bad guys, and they're
It's a subvert.
like the it is a subvert, but it's like right off the bat. It's not like a oh, like this is something you learn in like the middle of the game. Because I mean it's a roguelike, so like they tell you right off the bat. They tell you like everything you need to know right off the bat. But like of course, because it's a roguelike, they have little like snippets of information you only learn at like certain points after doing certain things. And man, the heroes are really like messed up in this world. Like they are really messed up. Like the Demon King is a pacifist, and like all the other demon, like the current Demon King is a pacifist, and all the other demons under him are kind of looking at him like, "Oh, why are you a pacifist? Like the humans don't like us anyway." And the humans really still go out of their way to try and like murder all the demons they can find and like killing like all the fox spirits and all that stuff. The heroes are messed up, but I find that hilarious because uh every time you do a run, you wind up encountering two bosses in the first area. You wind up encountering a hero boss and then a tree boss.
It sounds like Avatar Yang Chen, who was the avatar that messed things up for the avatar after her because she would she wouldn't keep balance. She was like a police officer going after black people. She was just going after spirits, and she would always take the human sides instead of being the balance. I was about to say to the force, the balance between spirits and humans. And then the avatar after her, which was the I forget his name, the one the like the Water Nation one that
I
everybody
know what you're talking about.
yeah that a lot of people said was laid back. I think his name starts with the T. I think it's Torque or something like that. Um, he actually had to fix her mistake because the spirits started to like try and break into the human world and like destroy stuff, and he literally sat at like the rift for a very long time fighting back those spirits. Anyway, I'm going too deep. I'm going to whole tangent about Avatar. But anyway, I can't wait. I want to see one of those stories be adapted into animation or something like that in the new Avatar studio.
I was gonna say they're making an entire studio, so I feel like we're gonna see a lot of Avatar stories from Avatars we want to see. I really want that Roku show. I don't care. I just want I don't care if it's only like a 10-episode miniseries. I want more about Roku. I love Roku. And an Avatar one show. Oh my god. Okay, I'm not gonna go on a Harry Potter about Avatar. We're not gonna do that. Okay. Skull. I've been watching a little bit of Brooklyn Nine-Nine, but that's literally, it's just been those three things in the little bit of free time that I've had all week. Like I really have not been doing much of anything. Before that, I was playing a lot of Destiny 2 because in 2 days, The Witch Queen, which is the new season, the new expansion drops. I'm so excited for it. And now that I have a new job, I'm dreading that I'm not going to have time to play it because I spent like the $180. It wasn't actually $180. It was close to $200 for the like ultra super mega combo deluxe edition. And I want to get the most out of that, but I'm afraid I'm not going to be able to because I got a new draw. Now I got a new job. And oh my God. I really want to play that game. I'm so excited for the Witch Queen. It's going to be so good. I'd also started playing Ghost Runner because I started game sharing with a friend of mine. Started playing Ghost Runner on his account. Ghost Runner was really cool. And I started Monster Hunter World. I beat the very, 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 very first mission. And that was pretty much it. The character customization in that game is freaky. It's so good, it's freaky. It like actually freaks me out. I caught up on Nightwing, read the new John Kent Superman issue, and read a little snippet of the first issue of the new Iron Fist series, but I didn't read the whole thing. Yeah, that's pretty much it.
Yeah, I also read Nightwing. I'll talk about that later. I need to read the Superboy issue that ties in. Yeah, Superman. So I've been watching the Cuphead show. I've only watched the first 2 episodes so far. They're like 15-minute episodes. It's good so far. I'm enjoying it. Demon Slayer, I finished up the 2nd season. That show is great. The animation is beautiful. You should definitely. I think you said you started watching it before. You should definitely finish that up. The show's great.
Yeah, I'm halfway through the first season, and I keep meaning to go back and finish it because I like it so far, but yeah, I like Jujutsu Kaisen a lot more. But like, it took me longer to get into Jujutsu Kaisen because I was not feeling Demon Slayer at first, just like I wasn't feeling Jujutsu Kaisen. I really wasn't feeling Demon Slayer, but I don't know. I started liking Demon Slayer. I just need to finish it.
Yeah, I've also been watching Attack on Titan, which that just reminded me that there's a new episode out right now that I need to watch later. Been watching Euphoria, which is about to be an episode in like 20 minutes, 22 minutes that I'm gonna watch right after this podcast. Been watching the new Bel Air, which is a like a remake of Fresh Prince of Bel Air, but it's a drama, and it's actually pretty good. It's not bad. There are 4 episodes out so far. They released 3 episodes at once. I coincidentally my mom wanted to watch something on Peacock, so I subscribed to it, and then coincidentally Bel Air was on there as well. So I started watching it. Insecure, I started watching that on HBO Max. That show's been pretty good so far. It ended recently, sometime last year. So yeah, I'm trying to finish that up. I watched the Texas Chainsaw Massacre, the original 1974 one, in anticipation for the new one that's a direct sequel to that original one, and I'm still good. Both of them are only like an hour 30, so they aren't super long. They get in, they get out. They do what they need to do. The first one is amazing, revolutionized the slasher genre. Great film. The second one, it was fun. It was a fun slasher, some good kills, some tense moments, and it didn't overstay its welcome. Like I said, hour 30. Nothing revolutionary, especially in comparison to the original, which was extremely revolutionary, but it was fun nonetheless. It's worth watching at least once. It was pretty cool. I also watched The King's Man. Did not enjoy that. The first half of that movie was weird. There was a really cool fight scene with who was that Russian dude? I can't remember his name. Um, that was pretty cool. And the dude they were fighting was kind of doing ballet while he was fighting at the same time. It was pretty cool. But the story was super weird. It wasn't until halfway through when this one really cool scene happened. And then a big twist that I was like, oh, okay, now it's interesting. But like
I feel like you're describing my entire fear of the entire Kingsman franchise from this point on, because the first Kingsman movie was amazing. The second Kingsman movie was terrible. And I'm afraid that I've been very afraid that this Kingsman movie was going to follow suit. I was hoping that I wouldn't. I haven't seen it yet, but you're describing exactly what I was afraid of.
Yeah, and they also completely throw away the what made Kingsman the first one so good in my opinion, which was it was like a subversion of the like spy movie genre, as well as throwing some comedy in there and some dope action scenes. It still has some good action scenes, not nearly as good as the first one or the second one. I enjoyed the second one. I definitely don't think it's as good as the first one, but I don't think it's bad. The action in it, though, I don't think you can deny is really bad. The action's still pretty good in that movie. And this third one doesn't really live up to either of them, especially the first one, because the story wise it's just much more of a period piece and a drama more than anything, rather than it being like a parody kind of spy movies, which is what I was expecting. And it is not satisfying in any way whatsoever how they formed the Kingsman at all. Honestly, I didn't enjoy it very much. Halfway through I wanted to stop watching it, but I was like, I got to see it through, my boy. So yeah, I've been playing Sifu. Oh wait, I'm skipping a lot of stuff. What was that? Uncharted Lost Legacy. I'm skipping literally one thing. I've been playing that after I finished Uncharted 4. Now I'm playing Lost Legacy. Sifu, it was really fun. I'm still playing it for now. I might go back and try to get that true ending, but I don't know if I will. I beat it at literally above 70 years old with one life left. It was Thursday night, and I fought Yang again to see if I could get a handle on him. And then I was about to call it quits and go to sleep. But then I was like, you know what? Let me go again. And I went again. I'm doing good. I'm not good at parrying, but I am great at avoiding. So I'm on the second stage of the boss. And I'm fully convinced it's over. I'm dead. I'm gonna have to pick it back up tomorrow and see if I can beat him again. But then I got a second wind and I turned into Neo and was just dodging everything, dodging attacks that I couldn't dodge before. It was crazy. And then I saw his health was almost down and his structure bar was almost full. And I was like, oh my God, am I about to beat him right now? And then I did. And I was like, oh, I did not boot up the game expecting to beat it, but it happened and it was fun. That game was really fun. I now want like every game ever to have a combat system similar to Sifu. Like the Arkham games solidified that combat system of press and Y or triangle to dodge attacks that are telegraphed usually through some type of thing popping up over their heads, or you just see them like swinging at you, and then you got a dodge kind of roll thing, or like a actually no, that's the Y or triangle. I don't know why I'm saying Y. I haven't been playing my Xbox too much. And then you have just your light attacks, and sometimes you have gadgets like Spider-Man and Batman. But I think this combat system, I'm not saying that system needs to completely go away, but I think this combat system could be used in those types of games to make them really interesting. Specifically, me and you talking about a Daredevil game with similar combat. But I would want it to be an open world, but only confined to Hell's Kitchen. I don't need Daredevil to be exploring the entirety of the city like he's Spider-Man. I want it to be confined to Hell's Kitchen. That way, the traversal would be a mix of swinging around with the billy clubs and parkour, so that it's not so much like, again, Spider-Man just swinging around. And I would want the billy clubs to have to take on 4 different forms. The default form being just the scrimma, and then you can pit them together and create a short staff, and then that staff can be extended to create a bow staff, and then the final form would be like the strings within both of them interlinking to create like nunchucks. But yeah, I think a Daredevil game with this type of combat could be really fun. I want to see this type of combat to just be used in other games. like a Sleeping Dog sequel or a spiritual successor or something like that could be really cool with this combat. Anything thing about sequel you want to say?
No spiritual successor. Give me a full-on sequel to Sleeping Dogs. I don't care. I want Wei Shen to get another adventure. I don't care. That's all I want. I don't really have much else to say about Sifu specifically. I mean, it's fun. I like it. I'm having fun with it. I still haven't started the club because I beat the squats, which I still think is a hilarious name. When I first saw it, I started cracking up. Every time I see it now, I still crack up, and every time I say it, I still laugh. I'm trying to get to the art museum at age 20. I'm trying to do the entire thing, no death run, sparing every single boss the entire time, but it's taking me forever to do.
Yeah, I didn't even want to try to attempt that in my first run. I got 20 on the squats, and then when I got 21 on the club, I never went back. And I went to the museum and I got 23, and I was like, that's crazy because Kuroki can be hard to fight, but I got the handle on her eventually. And then the CEO is super easy to fight, like crazy easy to fight. And I got out of that at like 29, but not because of her, but because of even though I got the shortcut, there are still some things you have to fight on the way that gave me some trouble. But yeah, the game's fun. Moving on to animation. So Life is Strange and Disco Elysium are getting TV adaptations planned at Amazon. The reason I put in animation because I'm not sure if they're going to be animated or not.
Wait, Disco Elysium is getting a TV show?
Yes.
Dude, whoa, that's so cool.
Have you played it yet?
No, but I know, I know the premise.
Because I was like, this game looks like the type of game that you would like.
I was gonna say, I know the premise of it. I just haven't had the chance to. Again, my time has been like everywhere. Like I haven't really had the time to do anything like that. But I really want to play Disco Elysium. So like, I'm very excited. It's actually getting a TV show.
Yeah, I know you're not the biggest fan of the first two seasons, or I was just seasons. This isn't The Walking Dead, of like the first two Life is Strange games, but you like the third one. I like the first one a lot. I don't like the second one, and I love the third one. So yeah, I'm interested to see what they do with that. And just to see whether it's animated or not. So apparently, the Ben 10 creator said that Gwen will be getting her own series about her time in college with Kevin. And it will be called Gwen 10. And it will be in an anime style due to her being more popular with Asian audiences. And that's interesting. That's cool. I like me some Ben 10. And I've been meaning to rewatch Alien Force. I recently watched a YouTube kind of documentary about Dwayne McDuffie, who we talk about in this podcast all the time. And I talk about how he is like the reason a lot of the DC animated shows that we grew up watching were so good. But he was also responsible for the first two seasons of Ben 10 Alien Force being the best Ben 10 content ever. He's part of the reason he wrote on damn near every episode of those first two seasons. And he, would have done more if he didn't, pass away, unfortunately. So yeah, I'm excited to see what they do with this. Any thoughts about Gwen 10?
I'm not the biggest Ben 10 fan. I mean, it's cool. I really like the original series. I also like the one that came out in 2012, 2013. The one with the alien dude, and he had like the multi-tool. I don't remember what it was called. I was like 11 years old watching that. I don't remember anything about it.
Omniverse.
You said what?
Omniverse.
Was it Omniverse? That might have been Omniverse. I think it was like 16. It might have been Omniverse. Yeah, no, it was cool. I don't necessarily know that I would be interested in Gwen Tennyson, but I might, because I like Gwen and I like Kevin, but I don't necessarily know that I like them enough to watch an entire TV show about them, because I don't know that I like Ben enough to watch an entire TV show about him. So I don't really know. We're gonna see. But I also haven't seen Ben 10 since I was like 10 or 11s. I don't really know. Maybe I'll do an entire like massive rewatch of all the Ben 10 shows and movies in chronological order, and then I'll see what happens there.
All right. On the comics, so the Flash 777. Flash and the Justice League Dark continue to chase Eclipso in the gym world, and they recruit the help of a gym world criminal. The Justice League Dark is mind controlled by Eclipso, and capture Wally and the dude that was helping him. I've read more than that, but I got a lot of other comics to talk about, so I'm gonna save the rest of that arc, the very final part of it, for the next episode. I read a Green Arrow Rebirth Volume 1. Otto Schmidt is an art god. He's a good artist. A small summary of what it is without spoiling it is that a secret like criminal banking system is abducting people and forcing them to join their organization. And Oliver uncovers the secret alongside Black Canary.
The nine circles of hell.
And he discovers that Queen Consolidated's CFO was working for this organization. So his little sister, who's he's taking care of Emiko's, her mother is sent to kill Oliver. Yeah, that's all. That's why I'll leave it at. It's a good comic. I liked it.
Real quick, I don't want to, because I didn't get very far in Green Arrow Rebirth. I wanted to get further, and I will get further eventually. But like, the only thing I didn't like, I don't know how much like pre-crisis or post-crisis Green Arrow you've read, but Eddie Fires is like a really big character in a large chunk of post-crisis Green Arrow. Like I told you, like for a while, Connor Hawke was like Green Arrow longer than Ollie was in post-crisis, and Eddie Fires was a big character in that era because he took like the father figure role on because Oliver was dead, obviously. And like Eddie Fires in like 3 issues, at least that I read, of Green Arrow Rebirth. And I'm like, where's Eddie Fires? He was such a big character. Now he's delegated to like 3 issues of like a joke villain. I'm like, are you serious right now? Bring him back. But no, that's really all I had to say. I don't really know if you're further than me or not, because maybe he shows up again, but he really wasn't in very much.
Yeah, and I'm not sure if it was this comic that did it, but they brought like in John Diggle. I'm not sure. I'm pretty sure he was in comics before, and they brought him into canon of the comics. So yeah, that was interesting.
No, he was in the comics in, I want to say post-crisis, but just not very. He didn't have a super big role.
Okay, so I read the first volume of Wonder Woman Earth 1, written by Greg Morrison, drawn by Yannick Paquette. Morrison delves into the aspirations Wonder Woman was built upon, which were love, courage, domination, and a bit of bondage. Naturally, it's much deeper than that, but that's my brief summary. I enjoyed it, but there are 3 volumes in total, so I haven't really read enough to give a proper opinion. It's definitely more philosophically focused than it is action focused. And it's the Earth 1 universe. It's hard to tell if they're connected most of the time, but it's been interesting. I've been just going on my way to read some more Wonder Woman. After this, I finished the 2nd, 3rd volumes. I'm going to check out Greg Rucka's Wonder Woman run, and then I also want to read Greg Rucka's Batwoman, which I'll talk about a lot. I'll eventually read it. Nubia.
Wait, real quick. Have you read, how many of the Earth 1 comics have you read?
Just this 1 volume.
Okay, I just gotta say the entire Earth 1 universe is actually pretty good, at least from what I've read of it, because I also haven't read the whole thing, but I've read Volume 1 of Superman and Volume 1 of Batman. They are what I feel like Zack Snyder was trying to do with his universe. Like, they do his entire, like, spiel so much better than he actually did. I recommend you give it a try.
A lot of people say that that the Earth 1 universe is kind of like a movie script. They say that it's like the equivalent of in a lot of ways the Ultimate Universe in Marvel, in terms of that's basically what the like live action should have adapted. Loosely. So that's interesting. I might
I'm glad you added loosely at the end of that, because I was like, I don't know if they should adapt the Ultimate Universe. But I'm glad you added that, because I was like, wow.
Yeah. So I've been thinking about checking out Earth One Batman. I thought I had Earth One Batman in my wish list, and then I went and checked, and it was Batman Year One, which I also want to read, but it was the completely wrong book. But
Dude, you want to get Batman Year One? It's like my favorite Batman comic ever. It's so good.
I'll read it. Nubia. In this issue, we learned that Andromeda is having visions of Nubia. The reason she's having visions of Nubia is because when Nubia went to man's world before, she had a relationship with her in her past incarnation before she was like revived through the Well of Souls. So that's interesting. I have another issue that I haven't read yet. That's on the updated Comicsology app, which I'm gonna talk about that at the end actually. So Black Manta, it is now done. It was only 6 issues for this story arc that'll be leading into the Aquaman series that's coming up. Devil Ray lodges an energy trident into Black Manta's partner's Gallus' heart that will plunge itself deeper into if anyone tries to pull it out. Have you ever seen a second Hellboy?
No, and that reminds me, I need to start reading Hellboy comics. I haven't seen either of the Hellboy movies, and I haven't really cared to.
You should watch them. Why would you say that? Watch those movies. They're great.
I've never been interested in Hellboy, but I am kind of interested in reading the comics because I did see a really cool YouTube video about some of the stuff in it. So I'm kind of interested in the comics.
Better get interested. Where Hellboy deserves a animated series in the style of Mike Mignola because his art style is amazing and it feels like perfect for an animated series. But I digress. Devil Ray uses this to force Black Manta to help him forge a trident, whose powers he will use to take over Atlantis and reclaim it for Black people. He's trying to make like underwater Wakanda. Naturally, Black Manta defeats him, save his friend, and he takes the trident for himself. And at the very end, it's shown that he like contacts Aquaman to warn him about like bombs that Devil Ray sent. So Aquaman the last time I talked about how his half sister's adopted mother like was trying to assassinate Mira. So they thwart the assassination, but his mother gets critically injured in the process. So he gets angry and starts like lashing out at the people around him. And in the very end, Arthur's sitting in a bar where he called Black Manta to. So they'll be teaming up in some form or fashion. I didn't even forget to mention it because I didn't read it because I forgot it came out. But the final issue of Harley Quinn, Eve Being Killed Tour, the animated series tie-in comic, came out. And it's just that, ignore that noise. Poison Ivy enlisted the help of Vixen to help save Harley from the stink monster I talked about. And that's about it. Supergirl, Woman of Tomorrow has ended, but it's also been announced that she's going to be getting a new comic soon, and I'm interested to see that because this comic was great. It's a very isolated Supergirl story, so if you never read any Supergirl story before, you weren't even interested in Supergirl before, this is worth the read. It is fantastic. You don't really need much prior knowledge other than knowing who she is and that she's Superman's cousin. Other than like 1 or 2 characters, one of which is Crypto. Most of them are completely new characters, and that's excluding Supergirl herself. So yes, it was a really good read. You should check it out, Woman of Tomorrow. Maybe when like a volume or something comes out. It's pretty good. The art's also one artist all the way through, no switch ups. Fantastic. TV and film. Transformers Rise of the Beast will be the first film in a new trilogy of this kind of rebooted universe that started with Bumblebee. I like me some Transformers. Do you like Transformers?
No, I don't. And I always feel like I feel like a weird half nerd because I'm huge into like
you comic. Shut up. You don't like Hellboy, you don't like Transformers, you don't like Power Rangers.
That's what I'm saying. Like, I don't like Transformers. I don't like Power Rangers. I can't say I don't like Hellboy. I've just never read it or seen it. And like, I always feel weird because like all the time people like freak out over Power Rangers or Transformers. I'm like, I don't get the hype. I don't see the appeal. But that's just
the original like Power Ranger show isn't that good. It's the potential of Power Rangers that's so great, as well as the little nostalgia. Because like Power Rangers would be great animated. The comics, I haven't read any of them. I need to check them out. They're probably good. The art's good because like Dan Mora works on a lot of them, and Dan Mora is a great artist. I'm pretty sure you know who he is.
Of course, I know who he is. They should have never taken him off Batman. And like the current guy on Batman is great. I love the current art on Batman.
Isn't it?
Dan Moore was perfect for Batman.
Is the guy currently working on Batman the one that worked on Superman? I can't remember his name.
I don't think so.
A lot of famous, like, especially today, a lot of the famous, like, I feel like a lot of famous comic artists are Brazilian.
Yeah.
In Brazil, I guess they just be producing some great comic artists.
We need to go to art school in Brazil.
But yeah, I need to check out those Power Rangers comics. I've told you, I talk all the time about Radiant Black. I've read the most recent issue, but again, I'll talk about that in our next episode because I had a lot of comic stuff out this week. But yeah, I'm interested in this trilogy. Hopefully they learn from the mistakes of the last. The last movies, they're like Fast and Furious. No, they're not. Fast and Furious is way more fun to watch. Transformers is kind of like Fast and Furious. They're just ridiculous, and it's fun to watch the action. The story itself isn't very interesting most of the time because it's like Godzilla. Some of the Godzilla movies where like they focus too much on the humans, and you're like, bro, I don't give a damn about these humans. I want to watch these giant robots fight. That's what I'm here for. You don't like mechs, so no wonder you don't like Transformers.
Don't say it like that. That's so accusatory. God. Golly. Like, of course you don't like Transformers. Like, okay, dang.
But there will apparently WB is also working on a Wonder Twins movie, which is interesting. What was that? I'm trying to remember something that I can't. Something about Wonder Twins, I think. Forget that. I'll cut that out. I feel like there's something else I want to say about Wonder Twins, but I can't remember. But all I know is that the person working on this either wrote or direct or not produced, but wrote or direct Rampage, that movie with like based off that video game with like the giant monkey with The Rock. I'm interested because I feel like this is the perfect movie for them to just make super campy because it's the Wonder Twins. Like, if you don't make it campy, what are you doing? You're going to try to make a gritty Wonder Twins movie? That would be ridiculous. Make it campy, make it funny, make it fun. I'm interested in this movie. How you feel about the Wonder Twins? You like the Wonder Twins? Or do you care about them in any shape or form?
I literally do not care about them in any way, shape, or form. My first introduction to the Wonder Twins was 13 Titans Go. And I've pretty much had no other interaction with the Wonder Twins outside of that.
Yeah, now that you said that, because that's what I was thinking about. And I remember why the Wonder Twins was in my mind. I was imagining a spiritual successor to the 2003 Teen Titans cartoon. Loosely spiritual successor, but not straight up a sequel where in this version, all of the characters would be older and like college. And this would be Robin on his way to becoming Nightwing. He would probably become Nightwing by the end of the first season. And like there's a Titans East in that. And the members of the Titans East are like Bumblebee, Kid Flash, Speedy, and these two Aqualad and these two little twin people who I don't know their names. I'm gonna look them up. And I was thinking all of those same characters would be a part of the Titans East in this spiritual successor I'm suggesting, except for those two. Those two would be replaced by the Wonder Twins. That's why I was thinking about the Wonder Twins. So yeah, I like.
You just reminded me of my favorite Nightwing origin ever, which is that he got fired from being Robin because he was spending too much time with the Teen Titans. And you just reminded me about the fact that the Titans moved to New York and Gotham City is in New Jersey, but the Teen Titans were originally in San Francisco. So my man Dick was trying to balance 3,000 miles of difference between. He was literally on like these two biggest things were on opposite sides of the country. I just realized that. You just made me realize it's kind of hilarious.
Yeah, but I like them as characters. Again, I would say that my like a lot of characters, my interest in them come from an animated series. But in Justice League Unlimited, which you've watched, there's a parody of the Wonder Twins in there, but not the actual Wonder Twins. There's like a entire superhero, like a kid not kid, but like older teenager, I think maybe like early 20s superhero group I think the government created that was meant to like rival the Justice League within Justice Unlimited. That were essentially a parody of the Super Friends, which included, like the Wonder Twins. There was who's the like Native American dude that can like grow, Apache Chief, which they changed his name. I forget they changed it to, because that's what they called the dude in Young Justice, who was basically that version of Apache Chief. It wasn't the Wonder Twins, but it was like a parody of them. And that's why I started to kind of like somewhat become interested in those characters. I think they were also in Super Smallville. The Wonder Twins, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, so Keke Palmer will be starring in a movie called Alice. The movie's about an enslaved woman in 1800s Georgia. 1800s. I meant 1900s Georgia, who discovers it's actually, she believes it's 1800s. I'm sorry. I'm sitting here reading it like, why did I write 1800s? This takes place in 1970 something. She believes she's in 1800s Georgia, but it's 1970s. And the film is inspired by true events where more than 100 years after the Emancipation Proclamation, there were Black people in the Deep South who had no idea they were free. So they were still slaves in the 60s. But this movie takes place in the 70s because, the culture of the 70s, they wanted to play on that. And it looks interesting. I can't say I'll watch it, but I wanted to just put it out there for anyone who might be interested, because this is something I didn't know about that ever happened. I didn't know that people were still working on fields as slaves in the 60s. That's wild. So I thought I'd just, put that information out there. But speaking of movies starring Keke Palmer, have you seen a trailer for Jordan Peele's Nope?
Nope. That would have been funnier if I muted faster. But...
Okay, well, I'm Dijon. That's Amir. Thanks for coming. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to our channel if you want to see more stories. Well, God damn it, Amir. I know I should have sent you some of these trailers.
You sent me the trailer. I just didn't have time to watch it.
Oh, I forgot that I did. Well, God damn it. It looks like it's going to be about aliens. There's a lot of alien imagery.
Well, I kind of gathered that from the thumbnail of the trailer. It was literally just a UFO with like the beam like pulling people up.
Yeah, what is it?
It's not about aliens. I'm gonna be very confused.
He could be tricking us. He likes to do that. Who else is in it? Stephen Yeun, who voices Mark Grayson in Invincible, and he plays that one dude in Walking Dead, whose name I can't remember. Was it Daniel Kaluuya, who's in Get Out? Like I said, Keke Palmer. Daniel Kaluuya, I think they might be playing siblings. It's not clear, but they work on a farm that like trains horses specifically for films. And they mentioned a little fun fact at the beginning about how the first recorded like thing recorded on like a camera or a piece of film ever made was like a 4-second long clip of a Black man riding on a horse, and that horse came from their ranch. And she makes a joke about like ever since pictures could move, they've had skin in the game. But yeah, I'm interested. I mean, it's Jordan Peele. Of course I'm gonna watch it. I also forgot to mention this earlier, but like literally right before this podcast, I secured a ticket for the Batman opening night, 7 p.m. I had to do it to him. I got to see that movie. Like, I'm not risking spoilers. Who do you think I am? I'm watching that movie opening night. So yeah, nope. Speaking of Batman, Black Adam. There has been a lot more Black Adam news. They've showed us a first look at Dr. Fate, Cyclone. Is her name Cyclone? I can't remember. Adam Smasher, Hawkman, and Black Adam, of course, again. And a little teaser where they showed several movies. They showed another shot of the Flash. His helmet looks a little better, but it still doesn't really. It looks better, but it doesn't match the rest of his costume, which I think is weird. But I'll wait to see it in full, like the full body standing straight up and down before I pass final judgment. But let's talk about the costumes of these other 4 characters. Did you see them? Did you like them? What do you think about them? I put them, images up on screen as we talk about them.
I love what I've seen of every character except maybe Dr. Fate, but I feel like it's just the angle, because from the angle in the shot, it looks like his mask doesn't, or it looks like his helmet doesn't have any eye holes.
I mean, even without the eye holes, it still looks amazing.
It does, but like, I like eye holes in my helmet.
I mean,
And it kind of looks like he has no eye holes.
you like to see, but even if it doesn't have eye holes, it would probably still be like really cool. But in one shot,
it probably will, but it's just gonna be a little bit weird without eyes. That's the only thing. Like, it's throwing me off. It gives me it's giving Slender Man. It's just I don't really know.
I mean, Slenderman doesn't wear a helmet, dude. I mean, Slenderman
He
is like,
doesn't, but he also doesn't have eyes or a face.
yeah,
And
but
neither
Slenderman.
Dr. Fate in this.
I mean, but neither does the question. Okay, the question is just Slenderman.
But that's his whole thing. There's a difference. There's a huge difference there. That's his whole thing.
Slenderman with hair.
My God.
But I think Dr. Fate looks great. Apparently, every time he's fully suited up, it'll be CG. And it looked really good in that trailer. So hopefully it looks great throughout the entire movie. Again, movies coming out in a few months, so they got time to like fix things up. But that run cycle of Adam Smasher was looking a little rough. Like the way his legs move just looked weird to me. But his costume looks cool. Again, another character who I mostly know from Justice League Unlimited. Adam Smasher. I remember him specifically from the episode where Lex Luthor takes over the Flash's body, and he's like running around the Watchtower. Hawkman has a shirt. I don't like it. Free that man's nipples, okay? Take the shirt off. Hawkman don't wear no shirts. Since when did Hawkman wear a shirt? Never. Who else? We got Cyclone. Don't know much about the character. I was looking up like an image of like one of the many covers that Alex Frost did for the Justice League of America, which these people are part of. And it Cyclone looks like it was a guy before, and now it's being played by a non-binary person who I believe the character within the movie itself, though, they will be playing a woman. So that's interesting. I don't know much about. I believe the character's named Cyclone. I could be wrong. It might be like Twister or something. But yeah, interested in Black Adam. Honestly, I'm more interested in Black Adam for the characters, for all the other characters that'll be in it more than I am Black Adam right now. But I am interested in Black Adam himself.
The only, and I mean the only reason that I'm paying a ticket in theaters to see this movie is Pierce Brosnan as Kent Nelson, because that is the most perfect casting I've ever seen for any character ever. And I'm also a really big Dr. Fate fan. Other than that, I really couldn't care less. I mean, I like The Rock. The Rock is cool, but like I really couldn't care less at all otherwise.
Sony is developing a live action Spider-Man 2099 project, but it all depends on how well Across the Spider-Verse and 2099 Spider-Man 2099's inclusion in that film is how well people react to it, whether or not the film would get greenlit. Which people love Spider-Verse. People will probably love Spider-Man 2099 because he's cool as hell. So safe to say we're gonna get a live action Spider-Man 2099, which goes to show again how cool Sony's Spider-Verse could be. But somehow they fucked it up. What you do? There's still time. They can still fix it. But like, it should have been cool as hell from the jump. It's Spider-Man. Like the most profitable superhero on the planet. He has plenty of good stories to draw from.
If they wanted to do a villain verse for Spider-Man, they should have just done the Superior Spider-Man story.
No, the thing is, if they're gonna do a villain verse, you still at least have to have Spider-Man in the universe.
Oh no, I'm not saying that you don't. I'm saying like he could have literally like very minimum to do with it, but like Superior Spider-Man would be the perfect story to headline that, because Otto literally in the second Superior Spider-Man movie, he literally created the Superior Six, which was a team of supervillains, but like operating as heroes working for him. They had the groundwork there and just didn't even look at it.
Yeah, they can include 2099 Spider-Man as like the future version of the Spider-Man within that universe, and that could be interesting. So yeah, I'm interested in that. He is one of the coolest Spider-Man costumes of all time, in my opinion.
He's my third favorite Spider-Man, but I do gotta say, I'd be more interested in the 2099 video game or animated
Yes.
project than I would a live action one. Like I'm gonna take what I'm getting. I love 2099. I'll take what I'm getting. I'll take a live action
game bad.
but I would have preferred a video game or animated project. I'm not gonna lie, and I know that sounds really nitpicky, and some people might even be looking at me a little crazy for that. But like, I just feel like 2099 and that whole universe works better in video game or animated format than live action.
It definitely would work better in animated or video game form, especially video game. Exploring like New York 2099 in video game format would be so cool because there would be so many layers to the levels. Because you have the lower portion of it and you have the higher up portion. And what is it? In like certain versions of his costume, he can like fly. So like you could have like a short range flight that eventually runs out and forces you to swing occasionally. That could be cool. Something I would be interested in them adding to the second Spider-Man game is the ability for Peter specifically to glide. Like those wings pop up from under his arm and he can glide for a short period of time. I think that could be cool. Any thoughts on that? On the gliding?
All right, I was yawning. I think gliding could be cool. I'd be much more interested to see 2099 do it than Peter do it, but I wouldn't really mind. If they do it though, I'd want it to be a much more rudimentary version of like the Just Cause gliding, because Spider-Man is nowhere near as sophisticated as Rico Rodriguez in gliding, because Rico Rodriguez has a multi-billion-dollar wingsuit attached to him, and Peter has like, according to all known laws of aviation, he shouldn't be able to glide at all type of wings. So I need very rough gliding.
So Batman, the Batman. This is probably why I should have mentioned that I got my ticket, actually. I got my ticket. I'll just say it again because I'm happy. It was like $20. Don't worry about it. Catwoman theme was released. Have you heard it? Have you listened to it? Did you even know?
No, I knew that it was getting released. I just completely forgot about it. I should also add that I got my ticket like 10 days ago. But no, I didn't hear it. I forgot that it was coming out. I heard that it was coming out. I just forgot about it.
Yeah, the release date on the movie itself snuck up on me. So I was like, oh yeah, I should probably get a ticket before it's too late. There were literally two seats that I was willing to get. There were a couple seats in the front left, but I wanted to sit closer to the back, of course. And there was one left, like literally at the top left corner of the theater. And I was like, okay, that's good enough, especially since I'll 100% be seeing it multiple times. And it comes out the week after next. And I'm trying to see if I can get my booster shot like next week. Like, I don't think I'll get sick, but it's Batman, so the theater will be packed, and I don't want to risk it. Even though I'll see it either way, I would prefer to get my booster first because I haven't got my booster shot yet, which I just need to get it in general. So yeah, get vaccinated if you haven't for whatever reason. It's been a long time, and if you haven't got boosted, do that as well because I will also, even if it's only to see Batman. get vaccinated. But yeah, I liked it. It's very jazzy. It definitely has a femme fatale type of feel, as you would expect from a Catwoman theme song. It's pretty good. Let's talk about the prequel novel. Spoiler alert for the Batman, because there are probably a lot of people who don't want to hear half of this information because it does kind of spoil pieces of the movie because it gives you knowledge that they will 100% will give you in the movie, like Riddler's motivation and how Batman came upon certain things and kind of his disposition. So like, if you want to save that stuff for the movie, skip to the next session, which we'll be talking about Star Wars, like usual. So the prequel novel.
Riddler was a ghost or a DoorDash driver, apparently.
Yeah. So you sent me a video that of a dude, talking about the new things that they learned from the novel. And I'm just gonna start with some Batman stuff. So Bruce hates to be treated differently because of his social status, which makes sense. We also learned that he's into street racing, and he built the Batmobile not as the Batmobile, but just as a really fast car, and eventually it obviously becomes the Batmobile. Alfred is former British Special Forces, makes sense, and he teaches Bruce several forms of martial arts. Um, Bruce has a particular interest in chemistry and figuring out how things work on a chemical level. He studies at several different universities across the world, taking different majors every time, and learning whatever country he's in's martial arts. And you can go about the Riddler.
He's a working man just like us. He was a DoorDash driver. So you already know that's probably where all of his villainous motivation comes from. No, but honestly, I wouldn't be surprised because if I were a DoorDash driver, I'd probably start becoming a serial killer too.
And we also learned that the Wayne sold Wayne Tower, not Wayne Tower, Wayne Manor, and turned it into an orphanage. And the Riddler was an orphan, and he lived at that orphanage.
I really hope that Bruce buys back Wayne Manor. I'm pretty sure the orphanage is probably like abandoned now. I mean, look at Gotham City. This is like the most epic Gotham City.
Comics, they say that Riddler evacuated the building first, but he then burned the orphanage down. So he burned down Wayne Manor. And
I swear to God, if we get another entire Batman trilogy with him not in Wayne Manor, I'm gonna freak, bro.
I don't need him in Wayne Manor. Honestly, I
want him in Wayne Manor. I mean, they're building an entire universe around this Batman. We can't have him in Wayne Manor.
So he lives in the tower, like the Wayne Tower. Like he has like a suite in it. And below the tower is a railway system that they used to go back and forth between Wayne Manor and Wayne Tower, but it's since been defunct, and he builds his Batcave in there. Mr. The Riddler hates him because he saw his like picture every day in the manor, like reminding him that this used to be a rich person's house, and he just does not like that. And he also sees the corruption in Baltimore. I mean, Gotham. I said Baltimore by mistake because we live in Baltimore, but no, Baltimore's kind of like it's not that bad. But
Baltimore is actually really similar to pre-Batman Gotham City. Like
we need that.
Scarily similar.
But yeah, he sees the corruption, and especially in people higher up, he becomes, if I'm not mistaken, like I forget what he does, but he gets a job that allows him to essentially see those types of things, like some type of accountant, because he likes working with numbers, and not just numbers, but concept. Why am I losing this word? Complicated, I guess that was the word I was looking for. Like problems. He's some type of accountant. It's a specific type of accountant that I just can't remember the name of. But through that, he figures out how a bunch of people within Gotham, specifically rich people, are being corrupt, and he probably learns something that the Wayne's done that we don't know because obviously the movie hasn't come out. So yeah, it was interesting. I also found out that 90% of the sets in the Batman are in studio sets, and they use, guess what they use? If you don't know, you have any guesses? In studio sets, and they use something.
I know what it is. I've seen every single.
You should have just said that. It's the volume, like they use on the Mandalorian, and most likely on a Book of Boba Fett.
It takes me a minute to unmute. You gotta give me a second, man.
And they're also going to be using it on Thor: Love and Thunder, and I just love to see that this is being used more. It's from what I hear, it's more expensive to use than just going out to find those places. But naturally it'll probably get cheaper to use, as time goes on. And I believe the one they're using for Thor: Love and Thunder will actually be an even bigger version of than the one that they use for the Mandalorian, Book of Boba Fett. So that'll be dope. I wonder how big the one they use for the Batman is, especially since the Batman was mostly done on like sets that they built. So that volume was probably pretty big. But yeah, the new Star Wars trilogy is in the works, apparently, set after the sequels, about creating a new Jedi Order. So most likely be getting more Rey, and they'll probably Finn's a Jedi. We know Finn is force sensitive. Like literally in the we talked about it for the Lego Star Wars Holiday Special, they show Finn doing Jedi training. It's kind of basically confirming that he's force sensitive in canon, even though that wasn't canon. Maybe we'll see Grogu. You think we will see Grogu in the sequels?
I'm literally not making
Sequels
any
to the
predictions
sequels.
regarding Grogu at all. I'm not placing a single prediction down regarding that character, specifically because I have no clue what's going on with him. As far as I know, it's just as likely that he's going to show up somewhere in like the sequel era as much as it is he's going to get killed in the first episode of season 3. I don't know. I have no clue. I'm not going to make a guess because I'm
Not
going to be
true.
looking stupid
They're
no
not.
matter what I say.
They're not gonna kill their money maker off like that. This dude sells toys, dude. They're not gonna kill. He merchandise, bro. Merchandise. They're not gonna kill their
You
money.
say this, and I swear to God, it's gonna be hilarious when somebody trips and falls and puts a blaster hole in his face. It's gonna be hilarious.
Oh
I'm gonna
man,
be
he's gonna
laughing.
catch it. He's gonna catch it like Kylo Ren. He is the reincarnation of Yoda.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I saw somebody make a theory like, what if like Yoda's species, they like there's only one male, one woman, and like they always make a new one, and they're like reincarnations.
They always make
It's like the Avatar. They don't necessarily have sex to make a new one. Like they just form out of thin air. They just are created by the Force. Like Yoda's people are just like aspects of the Force. That could be interesting though, because they are just naturally strong with the Force, apparently. Like we've seen both Yoda and Grogu, obviously two of three examples of those people who are Force sensitive, which are three of them are Force sensitive, including Yaddle, even though we barely see her. So maybe his people have a, just naturally high metachlorian counts, because metachlorians is still canon. So yeah, I'm interested. What do you want to see from these sequels to the sequels, other than actually doing things?
Just more Finn. I want to see more Finn. I want to see lots and lots and lots and lots and lots of Force Ghost Luke. Not actually that much, but I want to see.
I want to see every Force Ghost. I want to see Force Ghost, Obi-Wan talking to Force Ghost, Qui-Gon. I want to see all the Force Ghosts.
Honestly, just screw all the human characters. Just give me an entire 3-episode trilogy of just Force Ghosts, just going about their mundane Force Ghost life.
I want to see the Force afterlife. I just want to see afterlife with all the Jedi and heaven and Force heaven.
Actually, like I know we're supposed to be talking about the sequel, but like genuinely, like jokes aside, I am very interested to learn more about the Force afterlife and what that's actually like. Like jokes aside, I am very interested. I don't know that I'd want a trilogy about it, but like I want more about it. Like that'd be pretty cool. But as far as what I actually want from that trilogy, firstly, I don't even know, man. What do I want? Does it count as the Skywalker saga anymore? Because now that she's Rey Skywalker, but
no, this is beyond the Skywalkers. Okay, I mean, technically,
I'm saying like Rey Skywalker, like
yeah, but she don't got their blood.
She doesn't have their blood. But
she doesn't have their blood. Look, dude, this is kind of messed up. But unless we find out that either, like Leia, but it doesn't make sense that she would have a secret baby because she would have to be the person to birth it. I mean, I guess they kind of could pull that off, but unless Luke has a secret baby somewhere, low key, and this is messed up, the Skywalker bloodline is over with. or like,
really is.
Or Kylo Ren secretly had a baby or something. Like, otherwise, I feel like Luke has to have a secret baby or a baby that he doesn't know about somewhere, because otherwise the Skywalkers are just done. Their bloodline is ended. And that's kind of messed up. I don't like it.
Literally lasted for 2 generations.
You know what? I think I hate J.J. Abrams now. He destroyed the Skywalker bloodline. I don't like him anymore.
I mean, he technically didn't destroy the Skywalker bloodline because, like, if you really want to be,
it was him and Rian Johnson. They destroyed the Skywalker bloodline.
If you want to be completely fair, he could. I guarantee you, he probably would have kept Leia alive in the last movie. But Carrie Fisher died. He couldn't. He had no control over that.
It's not like she was going to have another baby.
It's not, but like, she could have had a secret baby somewhere.
I guess they could still have her. I hope they have a secret child out there, because otherwise, it really does sadden me to think that all the Skywalkers are now dead.
Yeah, that is incredibly. It literally lasted. It was Anakin, and Luke. And I mean, I guess you could say Shmi if you want to, but like, what if Anakin has like a cousin somewhere?
Anakin has cousins. That could make that. Well, wasn't he like Jesus?
Well, he literally was. He's literally Space Jesus. Him and Luke are
Anakin was
Space
literally
Jesus.
Jesus. So, like, I mean, I guess his mother could have had family somewhere, and they could be force sensitive, and they could also be Skywalkers. That would actually be pretty cool. The whole time he has a whole extent, a whole another like big family of like force sensitive Skywalker somewhere.
But this whole time, their cousin has been literally a war hero, and then his son has been a war hero, and they just sat and like watched on the HoloNet this whole time. Like I don't know, man. I feel like if he has cousins, they're losers. They've got to be losers, man. There's no way they can be anything else.
They're losers.
They are. Like, what are you doing? You're force sensitive, but like you see your cousin literally space Jesus, and then you see his son walk in his footsteps, and y'all just sit there and watch on the HoloNet. Like, nah, bro. That's fat L material, bro.
You know what I don't think we see enough, and because this sequel trilogy would be like way in the future, we need to see more people just being on the HoloNet all the time, like modern day society. I need to see people using the HoloNet like all the time. I need to see it become a more like frequently used and talked about thing in the Star Wars universe now that so much time has passed.
Something I really like about Rebels is the fact that the HoloNet comes up a lot. Like that's how they get a lot of their information is from the HoloNet. And there was like an entire like arc or like maybe two where they kept trying to Ezra thought that his parents were alive or something, or no, what was it? There was some senator that baited almost destroyed the Rebel Alliance altogether, literally through fake news by manipulating the HoloNet.
Yeah, I remember that episode.
Oh my god, that was it's hilarious looking at it in retrospect in comparison to real life. But
in case some people are taking us too seriously, we're joking about a lot of this.
We are. This is a much more sarcastic episode than most of our episodes usually are. It's late here. That's all I'm gonna say. It's late here right now.
It's like 9 o'clock. Okay, it's Euphoria time.
It's Euphoria time.
But
yes.
Let's move on and talk about Doctor Strange and the Multiverse of Madness. The first official trailer, because the last one was a teaser. You saw it, right?
Yeah, I did.
Okay, because you've been missing a lot of trailers.
I only missed no. Oh my god. You missed one trailer.
That's enough. But so
apparently,
let's just start. We heard Sir Patrick Stewart's voice. We heard Professor.
I'm gonna laugh if this is just some random British man and y'all are freaking out over this.
Bro, that is literally his voice.
I'm going to crack up. Now see, what if it's what's that guy's name? The guy who played Alfred in the Dark Knight trilogy. What if it's his voice that you heard? And because it's only like a 3-second snippet, now Alfred is actually in the MCU.
Michael Caine literally has one of the most distinct voices on the face of the planet. If it was Michael Caine, everyone would have been like, "Oh my god, it's Michael Caine. Alfred's in the MCU." You would have said it.
Alfred is the new Jarvis.
But yeah, so that was, if that's the Illuminati, we're getting straight into it. We're just diving deep. We'll get to all that other stuff later. If that's the Illuminati, which it is, we saw Mordo. It looks like Mordo was walking in the background, and he's part of the Illuminati. And maybe he takes up Doctor Strange's position in the Illuminati, and maybe eventually Doctor Strange replaces Mordo. But Illuminati in the comics is Professor Xavier, Doctor Strange, Iron Man, Black Panther, Black Bolt, and sometimes Captain America. He usually leaves because he doesn't agree with what they do morally. So if that's the case, the version of Mr. Fantastic, if they have Mr. Fantastic, which I'm assuming they will, it will probably be the one from the first two films that came out in the early 2000s.
I hope so. I really like those movies.
I think he was a good Mr. Fantastic. And I would like to just see him, reprise that role one time. His name is Ian Grufford. He played Reed Richards, and it would be really cool to see him. And it would literally be the first time we see. I mean, this movie is 100% going to be the first time we see a lot of characters in the MCU. It'd be funny if we saw Blade, Wesley Snipes Blade. That would be pretty funny. But much like I would be afraid, like I was for Spider-Verse at first, about them doing too much if I didn't see Spider-Verse. Now, not so much. I'm not afraid of them doing too much. I'm not afraid of them taking the spotlight away from Doctor Strange with all these cameos. I am now somewhat confident that they will be able to tell a good Doctor Strange, Stephen Strange story, while also balancing the cameos. Because if I'd never seen Spider-Verse, No Way Home, that's what it was called, right? Yeah. Then I would have been a little bit afraid. But now I'm like, I trust them. I trust them with these multiversal stories. I'm interested to see what they do with Wanda. I wonder if they will do the whole, people are always theorizing, what if she goes like, not mute, like she does something similar to No More Mutants, but she does the opposite and creates mutants somehow, some way. And, in a attempt to bring back her children. And, I wouldn't be surprised if that is the case. But before we talk more about the X-Men, because I want to get into a conversation about that, there was a scene of a person fighting Wanda who was like glowing with energy. And there were two shots of them that looked very different. And when I first saw it, I thought it was Kang. Then I saw it again, and I'm convinced it's either Monica or her mother. But then a third time, I saw it and it looked like it was a man, and people were assuming that it could potentially be a version of Iron Man that's on the Illuminati, and that it's Superior Iron Man, and that it's Mr. Mission Impossible himself. What's his name?
Tom does his own stunts, Cruise. Yes,
yeah, Tom Cruise as Superior Iron Man, because he was one of the people up consideration of Iron Man before. So that would be interesting to see. But I am convinced that it is Monica's mother, Maria, an alternate universe version of her, who instead of Carol became Doctor Strange, Captain Marvel, as a ref, and this will be kind of like a not so subtle reference to the fact that in the comics, Monica Rambeau actually became Captain Marvel before Carol Danvers did, but this time it's her mother. Because the energy looked more like Carol's energy, I feel like, than anything else. And also, the suit looked like it was black and white. That's Monica's colors, or her version of Captain Marvel's colors. So I think it was Maria, but at first I thought it was Kang, because I was like zooming in on her face and I was like, that looks like Major. That looks like the actor who's playing Kang. But I feel like it might be Maria. It could be Monica, but I assume it might be Maria. There's a tiny chance it could be Superior Iron Man. There's a chance it could be anyone. I don't know for certain, but I feel like it's Maria. Do you have any thoughts on who that might be?
I feel like it's Superior Iron Man. I've looked at that photo very hard for a very long time, and it looks like a man's body. Like,
there's a shot with them hips be looking hippie.
No, but that's the thing though. Those aren't hips. Everybody's like, they're hips. That's not hips. That's like a knee going up to the chest. That's like the outer thigh. That's not actually a hip. Like it's hard to describe. It's really hard to describe, especially because I'm not great with anatomy, but like that's not a hip, is what I'm saying. Like it's not actually a hip.
For me, it's definitely between Superior Iron Man and Monica Rambeau. Like, those are the two people I'm thinking. But also, just on the, maybe it could still be Kang. What if it's an Iron Lad or something like that? Like one of the Kang variants. That could be interesting.
I mean, if it's Iron Lad, then I don't know. I just really want to see Superior Iron Man. I like Superior Iron Man. I've been saying the only Iron Man series I've read cover to cover is Superior Iron Man. I could care less about Iron Man in literally any other like form or fashion. I don't like Iron Man all that much, but I love Superior Iron Man. So I want to see that.
Yeah, but before we move on, I want to talk a little bit about the bringing in X-Men to the MCU. In my opinion, if they bring in X-Men, I think that they should just like have mutants just be a thing. Don't try and retroactively make it make sense that mutants were always there. I think that's unnecessary. Make it a new thing that just happened. That's caused by whoever causes it, most likely Wanda. And I want the X-Men to be teenagers, late teens at max, maybe early, maybe like just fresh out of high school, teens going to college type thing. And I want them, I do not want them to try and start off with like the most iconic team possible. I do not want them to immediately throw Wolverine into the X-Men. I want them to take it slow. You got all the time in the world. Start off with the OG 5. Cyclops, Jean Grey, Angel, Iceman, Beast, and naturally Professor Xavier leading them. I want them to do that. Start off with those people. But where my brain goes, the only characters that they might need to retroactively make fit are Professor X, Magneto, and Wolverine. Because I feel like you do got to find a reason to make Wolverine have lived for a significant portion of time. And here's my thought. Wolverine was a super soldier. He was not alive in the 1800s, but he was alive in the early 1900s. And he was Weapon X, but he was a super soldier instead of like a mutant who was like had his skeleton covered in adamantium. And in which ways, like in what type of super soldier and what type of powers he got, I didn't think about it that far. But maybe he's just a regular old like Captain America type super soldier. And maybe he's still got metal bones. And then once the mutant gene is activated, he then unlocks his claws. I think they could do that to still have him have existed like 100 years beforehand. They could do that. And with Professor X, he could just have gotten his powers, but have already been like a philanthropist and, like heir to like a rich family or something like that. And, be very rich. And with Magneto. Now, this one is where things get a little rocky. So I have two options. One of them is a very uneducated in certain situations approach to the character that I want to point out that is the case. The first one would be that he is just like a descendant of Jewish. He's Jewish. He has family members who are Jewish, and like he's used to being discriminated against, like his family having been discriminated against, rather than him actively being a really old man who like was in the Holocaust. Because I feel like as time ticks by, whenever I see a comic and Magneto says that he was in the Holocaust, I'm like, dude, you look like you're like 45. There's no way you're in the Holocaust. So like I feel like that doesn't make sense for them to do that, especially since I would want them to bring Fassbender back. Instead, maybe he could be from like the Middle East. And he could be from I might cut part of this out as I try to figure it out. I need your help with this, and I'm gonna also use Google. What are the two countries that are currently at war with each other? Where like
Palestine and Israel?
Palestine and Israel. What if he's from one of those countries instead? So he still gets a sense of that again, because this is still a very recent like thing that's happening in the world. This is why I'm like, this is delicate, and I'm not the most educated about this. What if he was from one of those countries and part of the like he's been through injustice and he's a Jewish person comes from that rather than the Holocaust? You see where I'm going with that?
Yes.
I feel like it's a touchy subject and it's a very complicated thing to do. So I feel like they probably definitely won't do that because this is Disney we're talking about. But I feel like that could be an interesting approach if they were willing to take that risk.
Alternatively.
And then that's where he gets his like revolutionary mindset. Another option that a lot of people are saying, but a lot of people aren't a fan of, and I understand why, is to make him black and make him like older black man who maybe was alive in like, I don't know, maybe the 60s, maybe the 70s, a time period where there still would have been a significant amount of racism. Even if he's younger, he could still have gone through a very significant amount of racism just in America. If they make him American, naturally. And that's an option, but a lot of people are saying then that would be erasing a Jewish character, which I understand and agree with there. So like yeah, I wonder how they're going to do specifically Magneto, if they do Magneto, which I assume they will. I feel like that's a tough one, unless you want to make him really old, but somehow still you'll look young.
Alternatively, he's an omega level mutant. Just make it so he ages slowly. I'm pretty sure.
That's what I'm saying though. In this version, mutants haven't existed before. They are new. So he can't have done that.
I mean, just like don't say anything about like. I mean, here's the thing, right? They're already kind of hinting at the fact that mutants have always existed, especially in WandaVision with what they were talking about with Wanda. Is like
Yeah.
mutants have kind of
Oh, you know
always
what? That
been.
was another version I forgot to mention, that Professor Xavier and Magneto are one of the very, 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 very few mutants that existed already. That is an option that would make all of this disappear. Because, like you said, then he could just age slow.
Yeah, no, that's pretty much it.
That's literally because Wanda she's a mutant. We know that she had powers before the bombs and before she joined Hydra. Like, we know for a fact that was the case. So there is a chance that there are just a very small percentage of people with the mutant gene unlocked, and then she does something that causes it to be unlocked in more people. And that is also a way for Wolverine to have existed as long as he usually does, like throughout the 1800s all the way through, till today. They could probably do that. I completely forgot about that because I also thought about that idea as well. And that would literally simplify everything. It's like, yeah, I really like the idea of the whole Palestine-Israel thing, but it would be way too messy to try and do. It would be way too messy. Even though I think it could make an interesting story, it might not be worth the risk. But yeah, that's all I got to say. You want to say anything before we move on?
Well, not really.
So before you go to video games, actually, so Peacemaker. Peacemaker's over. You watched it?
Of course, I watched it.
Yeah, it was a good finale. It's a good show overall. It's they confirmed there's gonna be a season 2. We're gonna spoil some things. Spoiler for the season finale of Peacemaker. You said you watched it all. So Justice League appeared at the end, and it was only 4 members. It was confirmed that James Gunn actually did also film a version that had Cyborg and Batman there, but WB told him to cut that out. So they only got officially got Flash and Aquaman and both their actors there, but Superman, his face was shaded over black, and so was Wonder Woman's because Gal Gadot was doing something else, and who knows what's going on with Henry Cavill at the moment. But yeah, Wizard, we know for a fact that Ben Affleck is reprising for the last time his role as Batman in DCAU and The Flash. And I think this universe is shaping up to be really interesting, especially seeing that ending of Peacemaker made me go, that moment hit. I liked it, but it would have hit harder if the DCEU was consistently good. If it was consistently good, then that moment would have hit even harder. And I feel like with Batman, they're doing a weird thing with Keaton where they're gonna like make him the Batman of this universe. And I'm like, I would have preferred if they just
don't remind me.
I would have preferred if they just recast Ben Affleck, if I'm being honest. I would have preferred
the whole universe was
especially
movie.
Especially since they're doing an older Batman, but not nearly as old as Michael Keaton. They could have did like a lot of people suggest like maybe John Hamm could play Batman. Like maybe they could have did like a John Hamm.
He's still a little bit too old, in my opinion, for like my ideal Batman.
I know for your ideal Batman, but I'm talking about for the version of Batman they already had. Like he's the
version of Batman they already had.
Yeah, he's the perfect age. He's the perfect age for that Batman that they already have. And also, there's nothing saying necessarily that they couldn't have bring in other Robins. Like we know that one Robin died and that it was Dick, but there's nothing saying that Jason also existed and maybe he just isn't with Batman anymore. You know what I mean?
Jason Todd is the Robin for the DCEU and just never died.
Like, what if instead he actually just what if he just becomes Nightwing? What if they just make him like Nightwing but different?
Funniest part about all of this is that Jason Todd was Nightwing in the post-crisis Nightwing run because like Jason Todd was a villain. I'm talking like Black Air Force activity, demon time 24/7 specifically to Dick. Like he was like Dick's Joker for a while. And he dressed up like Nightwing and like started murdering criminals to like frame Nightwing. It would just be hilarious if it's Nightwing.
That's messed up. But
It
yeah,
was, oh my god, it was so messed. I'm telling you, he's on Black Air Force activity. Like some of these, like like the Eobard Thawne, like the things that Eobard Thawne has done to Barry Allen. You know that post? They,
I've
they're
seen that post.
Jason Todd has been pettier.
Yeah, I said that.
Jason's been pettier to death.
He's the greatest hater in all of comic book history. God,
Jason has been pettier. That's all I'm gonna say. Like Jason in that era has been pettier, and I'm not gonna elaborate. That's all I'm gonna say.
yeah, but yeah, I feel like there's nothing saying that like characters like Jason couldn't have become a thing eventually. And like they could have like eventually brought in Damien, but Damien's like way older. Like he was with the League of Assassins this whole time, and like he's like a teenager at this point. That I think they could do that. They could do something like that too. They could still do something like that in DCU. I just think that replacing the version of Batman that they already have with Michael Keaton's Batman is weird, but maybe it'll turn out good. We'll see. Moving on to video games. The Wolf Among Us 2 trailer. Have you seen it? Probably not.
That's very presumptuous of you, sir. I love The Wolf Among Us. Thank you very much. It's one of my favorite video games ever.
Did you see it?
No.
That's what I thought.
That's beside the point. That's beside the point.
Well, it was a really good little teaser trailer. The art style looks even better. And guess what they didn't do? They didn't pull a what's that game called? Walking Dead, and try to kind of make it a little bit more not realistic, but different. They kept with the like cell shaded style, and it looks even better. It looks amazing. And they showed some characters. I don't know if I want to spoil who it's. It's not like a big spoiler, but I kind of want you to just see it. Do you care if I say who they showed in the trailer?
I don't.
So they showed like Wizard of Oz characters. Like he was stalking the Tin Man back to like some hotel room he had, and in the hotel room was the Tin Man, a character that looks like it's Dorothy and Skilker. And yeah, he fought the Tin Man.
Just some guy who likes to wear shiny clothes and like snorts this drug called tin. I guarantee it.
No, he's just a giant robot. But he like starts fighting him, and then he turns into a wolf. But his werewolf form looks more like a regular werewolf. Because in the original, his very final form was like literally just a giant wolf. like some Twilight Vampire Diaries type stuff where the werewolves just turn into giant wolves. But he's the big bad wolf, so it makes sense. But like his in between form was like not like traditional werewolf. He didn't have a long snout. He had like kind of a more like a flatter face, but he does slowly become more and more werewolfish. In this one, he becomes more traditional human shaped, like 2 arms, 2 legs, long snout werewolf.
Does this take place before or after the comic? I don't remember. I've looked it up before. I just can't remember.
After.
Okay.
He's also in anger management. So yeah, I'm excited for it, man. I love those games. And Telltale's back, man. They're doing their thing. I'm glad. I'm so glad they're back. I am.
I'm really waiting for Batman season.
I was gonna say I need Batman season 3.
Like, oh my god, like Batman without an Alfred. Oh my god, bro.
No, y'all forgot about that. There's a version where he leaves.
Yeah, that I honestly I feel like if they do a season 3, that's the only possibility that they can go with, because the whole reason he left is because he wouldn't stop being Batman.
Who should be the villain?
Who should be the villain? Give me Mr. Freeze.
I was just saying. I mean, we already had Mr. Freeze. Like, bring in someone new. Like, someone new. Like, I'm thinking like a lady. Like a.
I was just about to say the League of Assassins.
Batman.
You know, the League of Assassins are my favorite Batman villains. Give me something.
Before we move on, actually, because I mentioned Catman, it would be really cool to see Catman in season 2 of Peacemaker.
Ooh, I like that.
Like,
not Catman.
You know who I think could play him?
Who?
The dude that played Hawk in Titans.
Oh my god.
He would be really good. You know, he could also be a pretty good Wildcat. He kind of just has that personality and that build about him. I'm trying to look up his name. Alan Rickson He's also playing Jack Reacher right now, isn't he?
Yeah, he is. That show is really good, by the way. I'm only
He
halfway through
just
it. It's
he
really
just
good.
fits that kind of character archetype. He could easily be typecast as characters like that. But yeah,
I just, I really, I want them to save. This is gonna sound so bad. I want them to save Catman for season two, or for not for season for Suicide Squad 2, but like Catman to be the Catman would be the character that gets killed in the beginning. Like there's always a joke killed in the beginning.
oh
He gets killed in the beginning and replaced with Bronze Tiger because they're basically the same character, but Bronze Tiger is a million times better.
no,
But I don't want Catman to die.
okay.
Did you just say no? Bronze Tiger isn't
Oh, I
better.
said no. I don't want Catman to die. Like I don't want him
Oh,
to be.
I was gonna say, do not start this. We all know Bronze
They
Tiger.
just essentially pull a Peacemaker. He gets shot in the throat, and then he survives it.
And then he shows up on Peacemaker season
So
2.
I had a dream before, like the night before the finale came out, that Green Arrow's first appearance in the DCEU was like season 2 of Peacemaker, and then they literally mention him and confirm his existence in that episode.
Yeah, I thought it was awesome they confirmed his existence.
Now I really want him to actually show up in season 2 and like thwart whatever they're trying to do. And then like Black Canary shows up for like literally at the very end. Now I just want Green Arrow to show up. I want Green Arrow in general in live action again in a proper way, not just Batman with a bow and a hood.
I just want Connor Hawk, man. That's all I really want.
Nah, fuck you. He's a teenager in the comics.
He's like his early 20s. He's like 21.
He looks like a child.
Everybody looks like a child.
Um,
He's literally Jason Todd's age.
Jason Todd never looks like a child. He's taller than Nightwing.
But that doesn't mean anything. He's still literally Jason Todd's age. That's crazy.
But Kirby and the Forgotten Land, they showed a new trailer. That game looks fun. Still don't have a Switch. I want to get one eventually. I want to try and get it before Breath of the Wild 2 comes out so I could play Breath of the Wild 1 first, because I don't think Breath of the Wild's coming out this year. But there's something called a mouthful mode, where he just like doesn't swallow it and transform into it, but like his unhinged jaw is just wrapped around the thing and he's controlling it while it's like half eaten, and it's really weird. I just wanted to mention that. So have you heard of the game Scalebound? Where it was like so there are not rumors that it's coming back, but specifically the people who are making it, the developers, want to resurrect it. It was going to be developed by Platinum Studios, the studio that makes Bayonetta and Nier Automata, and they made Metal Gear Revengeance. They want to bring it back. So they, it was going to be exclusive for Xbox, and they're specifically want to talk to Xbox to try and bring it back. And for anybody who doesn't know, Scalebound was an action RPG where the main character was bonded to a dragon that could help them in combat and be controlled directly. As a huge hack and slash game, I'm a hack and slash games fan, which are Platinum's like bread and butter. I was super excited for this game. It looked cool. Every trailer they showed, this game looked cool. And allegedly the reason it didn't happen, allegedly, again, these aren't confirmed, but they could be true, is that Platinum misappropriated funds from Microsoft to finish other games. They sat quietly while Xbox took the full blame for the cancellation for years before they finally came out and said, okay, it was our bad too. And
that's kingly behavior.
Yeah, that's some shady stuff.
I say kingly behavior, sir.
What kingly? How?
They let the larger multi-million-dollar studio take the blame. That's kingly behavior.
But yeah, so again, allegedly. But I took this quote directly from the comments under the IGN article from a user named Blue Living, where I couldn't have said it better myself. They said, if they were to treat the project properly this time, I'd be excited to see this happen. But honestly, I wouldn't blame Microsoft for being cautious after they fumbled multiple deadlines before and ended up spending their efforts and apparently money on different games instead, again, allegedly. Hopefully both sides can come together and make it happen one day. I want this game to happen, especially since it's next gen. It's even more possible that this is happening. Also, just real quick, speaking of next gen, so I still haven't been convinced. I haven't watched enough gameplay to be convinced or not, but I'm trying to figure out whether I want to get Horizon Forbidden West, because nothing has convinced me to get it because it looks like more of the same. But one thing that I saw that made me go maybe was that, do you know the one thing that I'm constantly saying, why can't you do this in Horizon? And I hope they could do it in the second one.
Traversal. Climb anything. Climb
Close.
everything.
Close. It's similar to it's traverse, but in a very specific way. Did you try and guess again? It involved.
I don't know. I don't know.
You can ride the flying dinosaurs now.
Oh yeah, I did see that.
I saw it because I literally never saw it anywhere because they were probably like, we don't want to spoil this for people before the game comes out. And I was watching somebody play it and I saw them riding the flying dinosaur and I gasped and I said, oh, that looks fun. I want to ride the flying dinosaur in real life. That sounds cool. But I saw it and I was like, finally, if they didn't do this, I would have been so angry. I would have been so mad. You don't have flying dinosaurs and then give the character the ability to take over certain robotic dinosaurs and then not let me fly a dinosaur. I keep calling them dinosaurs, but they're not really. But they're basically dinosaurs. But it looks cool. I haven't been convinced that it's good. I will purchase it when it gets a discount unless I'm convinced otherwise. But whenever it's discounted significantly, like over maybe like a 25% or something like that, more if possible, like a half off deal, which probably won't happen for a while. So who knows when I'll play this game, unless I'm convinced within the next week or two, watching gameplay and watch people play it, that I would actually enjoy it. Because I haven't been fully convinced that it's better. It's better, but I haven't been convinced it's been changed in the ways that would make me want to play it. That's all I got. As usual, I'm Dijon. You can find my ads below me. That's Amir. You can find his ads below him, along with the Muskrats ad below that. Don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe to our channel if you want to see more storytelling content, and to click the notification bell so that you're notified when we post. Peace.